bomb site just develops this map just that little bit more. Will we see the new bomb site? That's up to the teams to decide, but typically you're going to see all three of the floors being played. That's a bit of a no-brainer. You know, upstairs, downstairs, mid-floor, whatever you're picked, they're all defendable in all their different ways. Mid-floor would be the struggle compared to the other two, but really upstairs or downstairs is more of your preference.
So interesting thing here, seeing the IQ ban. So that could be a few things, but right now I would assume that that might actually be a target ban. We see Trust do their normal default glass ban because that is what Trust do. But on the IQ, what do you do now if you're Trust? Do you ban Echo or do you ban Valkyrie?
That's a bit of a rough one. Well, that's going to be the Valkyrie. That's the questions answered. And then what do you Liquid ban? I would imagine it's going to be probably Echo or Maestro. Really, whatever they want to choose. Sure, Mira there, but I don't think Mira's that good.
I would assume they'd leave Maestro in just because of, well, there we go.
Yep.
Just because of Sig's performance on Maestro. He's been doing amazingly well on that LMG. And then there are some things that you can do with Maestro downstairs that really make him a nuisance. You can put the Maestro camera so they can see underneath the floor of the cars, and basically the entire parking area in the garage becomes almost impossible to plant on late game.
Yeah, I think that's the talking point we kind of had there in the break was Maestro cameras are something that certainly Liquid revolve around. They love having Zig there because he can do a lot of work with the LMG. And the way that, you know, looking at last game, Trust, they played their IQ. They played it very well. Not only was Avij doing some excellent work in terms of fragging with the 5.52, but also because I'm pretty sure that Liquid knew, oh yeah, Valkyrie is going to be a ban they're going to go for. So then we can have that free option saved up just to go for the Echo.
Yeah. This is worth noticing as well, that we normally see Mira banned, but Mira on Consulate isn't as big of a deal. Sure, she has an impact, she makes it different in the spot she is, but we don't see her making sites almost impossible to take as we do other places, right? On the top floor, on the lobby, and basement, there isn't that big of an impact.
Yeah, because top floor you have in the connector, but then again that connector can be eliminated from the window or from below.
A lot of people actually don't even know that you can shoot the mirror window through the door frame. So unless the mirror window is pixel perfect placed, you can rappel up and shoot the canister on the mirror window from through the actual door frame. That's a good little one to remember.
And then the other one would be more than likely in towards the... Well, yeah, you have two options. You have either the break room, which is one of the more common if you want to hold admin, or if you're geared toward yellow, bathroom is another one, but then that's also very easily, gone just from a simple, quick aggressive need potentially as well. So yeah, Mira, not as good simply because most of the spots are very counterable by the attacks.
Yeah. I'd be very comfortable with leaving her go through, right? It doesn't seem like something you on an attack have to ban when you start attacking.
I really like the flexibility that Liquid have, where you can see them really switching their operators. Paula and Nesk have really been in and about either the Valkyrie or that Vigil kind of role. They play very similar, and I think it's a very good partnership. I know that we were talking about potentially Gohan and Nesk would kind of be the combo, but Paula and Nesk are working really well. They're synergizing in terms of their operators. They kind of bait in each one another. You can see the ties coming in from the Vigil, and then maybe they're not expecting Nesk to be there. However, speaking of Gohan, he manages to pick up a C4 kill on to Diapek, but will get traded off right back by Snuff. But that is going to be their main entry gone. But then also a pulse off the board is a pretty good kill for Trust as well. I'd
love to know what their plan is here with this top floor clear. If that's necessary against Liquid, I'm not so sure. They're spending a lot of time and a fair amount of health and utility to get this, but they still have to go downstairs and plant.
Quadzy will try and see if he can do anything with that sledge. He's been throwing pretty well with the Elliot, and can he recreate the magic that he needs to do for his team? And potentially even Avij might try and peek as the hole does get opened up by the sledgehammer. A couple of shots rattling through with the F2, but this is great time-wasting potential from Team Liquid. Neither we have seen Nesk. I say that, Paula goes down, but Nesk still alive. I speak to Suncaster's Curse and Trust Gaming. They turn it into a 2 versus 4.
Liquid might have overstayed their welcome in top floor, and maybe they need to back out a little bit earlier, but still, sure they're in a 4v2, but they have 50 seconds, and they're still not, they haven't cleared anything downstairs.
Not even reinforced hatches either. It's pretty free there for the sledge to go ahead and open up those hatches and also do a bit of destructibility on the floor. That's what we're expecting, but Still, they need to start working. The wall hasn't been opened up either, and looking at it, they may be rotating towards the back potentially and going for the drop hatches. I say that, nope, the Firma has decided to rotate and open up that wall finally. Doesn't have to worry about smoke because there will be no smoke, and Zig, what are you doing? Just runs on past the yellow stairs hold and does leave Sexy Cake in a 1 versus 4. Gets 1 kill for his troubles, but really impactless kills to say the least. With 10 seconds to go, Diffuser goes down, and all Trust have to do is wait, hold their angles. And Sexy Cake, all he can do is try his best to get some kills. He gets an immense shot onto Avaj, but still the outside hold will be there from Leonski, and even Quality lurking in the bomb site. Sees the Diffuser, but I don't think the long arm works in that kind of way, and he has to kind of rotate his way and down the yellow stairs to his death, more or less. And unless he creates another great shot, just like he done into Avaj, decides to go for the outside option. But no, Leonski will be there, and just like Clubhouse, Trust Gaming take the first round.
It's a bit of a shame to see Sig push there. I mean, ideally they noticed the Maestro cams in the spots on the garage, and they're such a nuisance. Even if you Twitch drone them, they're only going to be out for 10 seconds, right? So they were going to be able to sap him if he actually went for a plant. If Sig chilled out a bit, maybe fell back and played a bit more safe. I mean, maybe he's afraid because the hatches are soft and they don't have any info on how clear the server or the Visa stairs are. That could be an excuse there. But if you do leave the hatches soft, you kind of need your roamers that are playing top floor to actually try and fall back at some point as well.
So console office and meeting room, that top floor is then where Liquid will opt for. The downstairs wasn't just there that it needed to be. The room game, I think you mentioned, wasn't just as good. You know, they wasted time, but they got nothing from it. And a map like Consulate where whenever you know you have an immense lead, it doesn't really take that long to open up the wall and just walk on in and go for a plant.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about how people have to refrag. This is then one of the things that happen when you try to refrag, but it doesn't work. Then you lose a lot of roams very quickly, right? They did play a 3-man top floor roam, and I think on paper it was a mistake for Trust to try and clear that out. Hold the rotates and just go for a slow, normal garage take, right? Like, why are you worried about the people top floor? But then Trust goes in and absolutely demolishes every roamer up there, and it eases up their push on the basement a lot. It does push them back on time, but Trust is always comfortable with that, and they're used to only ever going for an execute with 30 seconds left. So no real surprise there. It's hard to justify the value spent on the top there.
So for the upstairs, you have 2 options in terms of attack. You can either go for the yellow stairs and you try and take control of the B-bomb site, or you go for what Trust are trying to do, and that will be the admin and work your way in towards long desk and in towards the A bomb site eventually. Looking at the setup, we do see a bit of roam game being established by Liquid, but then again, frag grenades will always be a thing, and if the ADSs are played right, then this shouldn't be an issue. Actually, no even ADSs, so that could have been a very detrimental kill. Oh, actually, one heading away right beside Paula, but quite surprised I didn't catch the frag grenade in that scenario, but holding strong. In a very awkward position. There's going to be, no big pushing power like a Ying being available for Trust, where you can Ying, jump on in, easy kill, because of course Paula would be flashing that scenario. And already a minute gone, and Trust Gaming really haven't made any headway into that admin area. And looking at it, Zig, a kill for him onto Thatcher. That does eliminate a player from Trust, another droner off the board primarily. So this makes things so much more awkward in terms of finding Paula.
I mean, the problem actually getting him out of this corner is that even if they know he's there, they kind of have to push him a bit from downstairs or fight him from the Visa stairs. They have to do like a multi-prong attack. If they repel in through this window, they're done, they're dead.
Maybe they could have went for Thatcher grenade into frag grenade. That could have been another option which could have worked, but the way it is, this is a complete standstill for the players of Trust. And Zig, what an angle, right on down through a destructible wall, through a hatch. Trying to see if he can pick up Ash, and that's what you said. Diapec trying to go below and get rid of the Jaeger, but just not working for them.
I mean, you have one on each window, right? And you have one below, just trying to get Jaeger out of position. But Sig is placed here just to make that more difficult for them.
finally, from below, we do see Paula fall after a very long round indeed for the Jaeger. Didn't move out of the spot, but that was just enough to keep Trust at bay. And with 45 seconds, you still have to take control of the vending machine. You still have to try and kill Zig, challenging with that long LMG. And then also finally push into the bomb site whenever you have to go against a smoke. This is not looking too good for Trust Gaming. Even goo mines as well, another annoying factor that they have to try and push in, and toxic beams will start to be expended. Vige will try and push on towards the long desk along with Quads. Even him himself, he starts to get tagged up. DreamHack has R4C, can melt anybody, but really, what can he do if he doesn't get himself in the right position? 15 seconds to go. This is going to be a complete slaughterhouse to the players of Trust, and just like that, it will actually be the tables turned as Trust Gaming. They take the lead at 2 versus 1 into a 1 versus 1, and somehow they win the round. The unwinnable dream for Trust, and they take the lead 2 rounds to 0.
So, if I was a betting man, I would probably have said after spending 4 people in 2 minutes to push 1 Jaeger out of a spot, you're probably not going to take the round, right? That'd be your first guess, especially when we see Sig already, you know, far back and safe in the opposite bomb spot after helping out there, and then going to change that around in a couple of seconds, winning the whole thing. It seems a little bit like a massive slip up from Liquid.
What happened?
I mean, great frag from Trust, but I'm going to put this a lot on Liquid.
Yeah, that was Liquid, yeah.
Really messing up.
That wasn't necessarily a Trust round. That was a Liquid round that they just threw away. Paula did excellent. He didn't even do anything, just sat in a corner. Like, he had no impact in terms of kills. He was just a kind of presence in the background that Trust knew they couldn't do anything until he was dead.
Yeah, it's weird sometimes with, like, how do you value that, right? Because how long do you have to waste as a roamer if you don't kill anybody? Because at the end of the day, somebody has to kill the differential between you and whoever took you out, right? But if they're spending 2 grenades, they're spending a couple of flashbangs, they're spending 2 minutes and 4 people, a couple of drones to get you out of that spot, and in all fairness, you're bunked up in a corner. It's not like they're clearing anything else getting you out, right? It's the absolute first thing they get out. And then they only have a minute left to take both sites and almost no utility. How do you mess that up?
Well, quick update for you guys as well. We have had the first 14-0 in Rainbow6 history. Space Station Gaming, they took the victory against Mini Golf Gata, that our only team that certainly is at the amateur level indeed. But, you know, fair play to Mini Golf. They give their best, I'm sure. But they're still not out. They still get a chance to play tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's too surprising of a result. I think everyone would agree that if you come in, you know, not having played more than a couple hours, you're not expected to take a round off a professional team. So what would we do if they won?
I don't really know what we would do. Maybe if they win a round, then yeah, that's something to celebrate.
Yeah. We'll buy them cake. Should we do that?
I'm sure that everybody here at DreamHack has treated them well. They're royalty here, you know, at the end of the day.
They will never be forgotten. That's never. Sure. Like, they're in the history books of Siege. Yeah,
they had interviews done with them, just because it's a team which has only played for a week and they accidentally signed up for this tournament. But at the end of the day, they got here, they got to experience you know, a Pro League setting, which a lot of people can say they've never done.
Yeah, yeah.
So fair play to them. But let's talk about another team which really is surprising us as well, is that we're seeing Trust Gaming 2-0 up against Team Liquid. As it stands, 1 minute 30 to go. Trust Gaming, they've opened up in towards that triple wall and are finally going to try and push in towards that beachhead, but looking at it, it's going to actually be the split bomb site floor, so they're going to try and take from the bottom and in, which is more uncommon to what we're used to.
Well, so this is a very difficult site to figure out what the cleanest way to take is, because what happens if you go from basement and they're playing top floor, they can drop lobby to basement in, you know, less than 5 seconds. And if you clear top floor, well, then they stack up on the bottom and they can push up the stairs as you try and follow. So it becomes this ring around the rosy to try and actually get an attack off, and you never really feel safe. It's a very gunfighter heavy bomb site to play.
So DreamHack trying to work his way down towards that blue tunnel, more like Death Tunnel, as Ness comes in with a quick double kill with a T5. And another one for him as Gohan gets one of his own, so a 1 versus 5 down to Quadzy, and this back push has dramatically failed for the players of Trust Gaming. A flawless round for the players of Liquid. They get their round back that they needed. And well, that's exactly what Liquid did in Border.
I think one of the mistakes we saw from Trust here was that they didn't really give themselves time to actually set up an attack, right? They get close, and all of a sudden they're so close to the bomb site that they kind of have to start taking these fights. And that's what Liquid wants. If Liquid gets to do their actual, you know, straight up gunfights, they're just winning more. Trust needs to, you know, pull a few of them out and then deal with them individually. They can't fight the whole team. The few times we've seen that, Liquid has literally destroyed Trust in, you know, seconds.
So moving into yet another defensive round. Still 3 more to go for Liquid to see if they can try and pull themselves back and get a bit of a fighting chance before they go onto those attacks. And then, you know, Trust can have their way with their quick, aggressive run-outs that primarily Quadsy went for. You know, just speaking to him there at the little break we had, he was very, very happy, man. Yeah,
they seemed kind of at a loss of words. I mean, like, let's remind them, they got pulled 7-2 on board, right? Rough match for them. They barely did much. Like, there was a few rounds where they got some aggressive peaks and kills, and that kind of fueled them into being able to win the rounds, but they were struggling so much on attack clearing out, especially Sig on like playing an anchor, shooting them outside the building, right?
10 seconds remaining.
And then they go into Clubhouse, and they somehow manage to
5 seconds left.
put Liquid in their place and win 7-4 there.
Attackers must locate
Going into
and
Consulate
defuse the
with
bomb.
that amount of hype, I mean, again, on paper, this should be Liquid's map, to be honest. But I think Liquid is starting to be truly afraid.
Yeah, he should be a young team with morale, and they Trust now think they can go on and win this. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. They can do so much work if they're working as a team. You know, they've been about for quite some time in terms of their team. They're all great friends outside of the game as well. But they still have to go against Liquid. Paula upstairs, as that vigil makes it a lot harder for the players of Trust to actually find out where he is and get the drone in. Has those impact grenades, which can be pretty, you know, neat just to try and get around the area, potentially try and get yourself out of a bit of a bad spot. You can impact your way out, or potentially a drop patch can be used, and even maybe pick up a kill. We've seen that plenty of times. Someone's downed and you can't finish the kill, so you throw your impact grenade and you manage to finish him off that way. Looking at this at the moment, do you think Trust are just going to play the exact same way they've done, where they've cleared out the bomb site, they've done the sledge, and then they finally go in for the push?
I think it's going to be a lot harder for them because they're playing a much, much softer roam right now. Like, they're not committing. You see Vigil's already trying to pull down and play like a base of yellow stairs instead. Paul's trying to scan out here and then having secondary C4 being thrown, so Paul still has his own left. Like, it's a lot harder for Trust now because they're not actually gaining anything. They're clearing empty space, right? And whoa, that was a good C4, getting him in bathroom there.
He just lined it up. He knew, yeah, I can secure this. He's on his drone. Let me just take my time, and taking his time worked perfectly. And that does secure the kill. It gives Liquid that advantage. Wall has been opened, and like you said, Maestro cameras are going to start to come in.
They are so annoying underneath those cars. You can't go prone and shoot them. You can't plant while they're there. You have to either EMP, twitch them, or blow them up, or you need to occupy Maestro. That's like, there's no way to deal with them unless you do that.
So a minute to go, we can start to see Quadsy get that sledgehammer in, get a bit of destructibility. I'd imagine that he's going to try and, you know, stop any of the rotations whenever the plant tries to go down. We know that the majority of the defenders try to rush in, and he will catch out Sexy Cake playing aggressive on the white van. But he also has a lurking roamer upstairs with him as well, as Paula will be lurking as the Vigil as the gunfights come in between Quadsy and Paula, and somehow Paula will win that fight against the sledge, but just barely. Nesk has also rotated his way up, and if he still has his impact nades, he could stop the plant going down, but no, plant got down too quickly as the cover from Snuff was there. Nesk will eliminate Diapek on the yellow stairs, a 2 versus 3. This is clutchable by Liquid, but Trust will have to hold the angles well if they want to succeed. Nesk, I'm sure, will try and put a bit of pressure with the run out as everybody else, and Paula on low health. Don't really know what he's going to do in this scenario, and the Claymore will go off. Snuff manages to land it with the explosive. A kill for Zig. Pre-fires the wrong position. Leonski will be there, but he has to work quick if he wants to try and stop the defuse going down. He sees the Maestro, picks him up, and this will be a 1 versus 1. Paula on very low HP. Leonski could also potentially die. Leonski sees the head, and he manages to pull off the round. And look at that, all of them on their feet. Trust Gaming, they have been revived, and they are coming all guns blazing for Team Liquid.
I mean, they're in the head of Liquid right now. Nesk was leaning up against Claymore and didn't notice it. He walked right in it 10 seconds later, right? They had such a good... So When Vigil takes out the sledge upstairs, you instantly have the control because you have the holes that Sledge was making, right? Like, use that, go up and make sure you clear out. Then there's 2 people left. He could probably have pulled off a defuse by just stacking 2 players in front of him and sticking that defuse, right? Because there's almost always going to be one on the left and one on the right. That's how people prefer to set up on a post plant. Do that, stick the defuse, one side be covered by the reinforced wall, and the guy has to push all the way up. We know Trust is going to fall back and hold some, you know, secure angles. They know they're not on site because they came from there. So why not stack up there instead of worrying about running out or anything? Like, block off the guy and then try and win that one gunfight. You're going to be 2v1 while one guy is defusing, and the other guy is definitely going to be too late. So I feel like they're getting in the head of Liquid, man. They're not playing smart in that round.
Headed to the top floor, like we did see Liquid do previously. This was one of the more weirder rounds we had. It was a very mind-boggling one where we seen Paula just stand there do nothing, but he did enough just in terms of getting into the head of Trust. Came down to the minute mark. They were only just an admin at that stage, and somehow they just pushed on him with gun skill, and really Liquid just said, okay, walk on in and kill us.
Yeah, I don't want to predict too much, but we see a Capitão now. So if he chooses to do the same, he will be very, very quickly toasted away.
Which is what they need. That's going to be the big answer, and that's where we're kind of glad we're seeing them do that, because it shows they're learning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're adapting more in this game than they were in Border, for example, right? Where they stuck with the same lineup over and over and over again. And they almost seemed like it was a rule for them that they had to play this no matter what. Might get a quick sneaky pulse here. So this is something we used to see a lot back in the day, and then it became less and less and less because people got so used to it and you started capturing the pulse downstairs. But if you're not aware of this, it's a free kill, and it is literally a free kill because you can get away after doing this. There's no way of capturing him.
I love this position for Pulse. Not only can you see straight away, okay, it's going to be an admin push, because like we've talked about, there's only 2 options you can go. If you don't see them on the Pulse scanner, then you know it's going to be yellow stairs, and then your team can set up towards whatever side. But not only that, he can also C4 from the bottom of the server stairs right up onto the roof of that server stairs and C4 people who try to clump up towards that kind of, you know, A doorway. And that's a very good C4. It's been pulled off quite numerous times where that C4 kills, you know, 2 people sometimes whenever they kind of clump up towards that. And still, the intel from Pulse is so great because then he has that kind of flexibility of rotating in towards Spiral and can rotate in towards Circle Desk and try and get these C4s off towards Break Room. I don't know how Gohan misses that. That's quite sloppy from him. That should have been a free kill. Sets them up quite nicely.
I thought he got greedy there because he sees 2 pings and he's throwing it right in between them to see if he can get both, right? None of them are moving. So instead of going for one safe kill there, I think he was trying to see how far he could stretch it. But he ends up doing absolutely no damage except for maybe, you know, frightening them a little bit.
This Maestro camera is so annoying right at the far end of that corridor. Not only does it give intel, but also just the zaps. It kind of makes the players of Trust go away because, you know, those zaps do quite a hefty amount of damage whenever they start racking up the RPM. Quadzy will try and enter in and deny access to Gohan, trying to give as much information from below. Leonsky also rotated his way over towards the balcony. Can he do anything as he starts to get gassed out quite heavily by the smoke down to 25 HP? Quadzy wins that gunfight against Gohan, so that set them up quite nicely, but really, he's below. He's not doing anything at this stage. Nest will find Avige through the quick gunfire towards the A doorway. A frag grenade, but lands nothing. Leonsky still from the balcony, and Diapek has gone down to the midst of things. Snuff will try and go for the refi. 15 seconds. Another kill goes in the favor of Trust. Leonsky takes out Paula. 4 versus 2. Zig has the LMG, not anymore as Diapek eliminates him. Down to Nesco, 1 versus 4. Can the Brazilian, the beast of Brazil, clutch up for his team? Diffuser has been planted. Close planted situation. Ness tries to fight, finds one in the Quadzy, but no, Diapek will be there. And Trust Gaming one more round closer to that win.
So we were saying that some of these rounds are Liquid's giving them away, right? They're losing rounds that they shouldn't, but we have to give some credit here to Trust. Going for that revive with 17 seconds left, it requires you to like be very collected and you know exactly what you're doing. Because you're 2 guys out of a gunfight or out of the entire game as long as you're reviving. A lot of stuff can go wrong in that time. So you really got to trust your teammates. You got to have some good communication to allow for revive to happen with that little time left, right? There's a clear plan for exactly what's going to happen when the revive is done, and then you know, well, now at least we're 4v2 for 10 seconds instead of being, you know, 3v2 for 20 seconds. So that does show quite a lot of skill, and that they actually, they're a contending team now. If they can play like this and they can keep, you know, swapping their operators, I mean, still we could see a little bit more with them trying to adapt in terms of lineups, but they are adapting and they are changing their attacks and trying to make it harder for Liquid to play these spots that they want to be in, which means that all of a sudden now they're controlling the flow, and that's exactly the spot you want to be in with Liquid, because they only ever really do anything when they're, you know, when they're the bulldozer.
Yeah. It's kind of like I think this entire series has kind of been like a movie. You know, a bit of a rough start for Trust. Middle, yeah, again, pretty good. And then this final part has just been magnificent from Trust. Still have to give, you know, Liquid, they haven't been playing to what we expected. This is a completely different team compared to what we've seen at Border. Or maybe is this just Trust giving it all they have, the final bit of fuel in the tank, and really trying to stick it to Liquid?
I mean, I don't know, maybe it's jet lag, maybe they're not themselves. I don't want to take too much away from Trust. Liquid needed to play this better. We expected more from them, especially after, well, actually, honestly, Paul has been doing pretty damn well. We expected a bit more out of Gohan. Nesk, it's fun to see how he's been lining up with, you know, the entry fragger on Trust. We wouldn't expect that. He's considered one of the best fraggers in the world. Yeah. And struggling with a Benelux guy, right? Yeah,
he's only had at least, I think, maybe 2 really solid, you know, triple kills in there. Nesk is known for just getting, you know, tap, 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 triple kill galore for him. Really hasn't been doing that. Quadzy has, especially in the defense, Quadzy just jumping out, catching Nesk on his Ash by surprise, has been so big, especially looking at, you know, even the rounds that they did when in Border. That was still pretty big by Quadzy, and then they just developed that for Clubhouse over time. And whenever we get to see then the attacks from Liquid, that's whenever Quadzy can start doing all his mad jump outs. We know how many jump outs there is in Consult, the spawn peaks galore as well. That could prove pretty big for Trust.
We see Trust have done their homework here. They're not trying to fight that mirror window, because this is something we've seen Brazilian teams do quite a lot, is put a mirror window just in the middle there, and then they're playing this lineup where they can toss a C4 out right in the middle of the garage, and it will kill you whether you're left or right trying to Thermite.
Thermite will go down as the quick, you know, flip kind of tried to work in favor of Trust, but no. Person will be there, and well, refrag does come out, but it will be a 2 versus 4. Trust finally looking a lot weaker, Liquid looking stronger. Quadzy 2 versus 3 now, as he will take out Nesk once again. He is still the Nesk Slayer, it seems to be inside this series, so Avage and Quadzy down to them too. See if they can perform any bit of redemption for their team. Zed, Gohan and Paula should be pretty safe just to clutch this up. It really shouldn't be too much of a hindrance. No hard breach as well, so they can only push in through doorways, and whenever they have the Maestro cameras just zapping them the whole way, even a Nitro Cell for the mirror as well, that's whenever things start to look pretty grim.
I mean, with the HP left on Sledge, I think Maestro could go on cams and the 2 other guys can go AFK. It's almost impossible getting through the Lesion Mines and the Maestro cams, and, you know, he's done for.
Yeah, even just the LMG spraying will work. Avage gets one and will pick up Quadzy, but 10 seconds to go. They are going to have to perform the frags of their life if they want to secure this one. He pushes on. Zig has the LMG, just sprays and prays, drops the Twitch. Quadzy and gets Goo Mine like we discussed. Comes close, but not close enough. And Liquid, well, in their final defense, they finally have something to talk about. But still, Trust Gaming going into their attacks, they lead 4 rounds to 2.
I think Quadzy almost ended up getting down by his teammate there.
Yeah.
Like that could actually have worked in their favor, because they wouldn't have time to do like a normal reset, but if you spray your teammate halfway down while you're killing another guy, then I guess that works as well.
Value.
Yeah, might as well. But I mean, Trust they're playing out of their minds. This is not what we expected. I can't emphasize enough like how much of an underdog they were supposed to be on paper. This tournament that they normally play is somewhere where, sure, they're the best there, but they still sometimes struggle. They still get good fights. And we're talking about a tiny regional tournament between Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. And then to go and perform like this.
Certainly is a miracle, really, for Trust. That's all you can say. It's underdog story. I know that you said during the death system, never count an underdog out, and certainly I think that they've proved why you don't do that, because they have performed so big and so well. But can they keep that momentum rolling? That's kind of slowed them down just a little bit, losing that round. But if they take this next one, they go 5-2 up. I have no idea how many times Snuff is going to be shouting whatever he wants to do. Maybe throw his chair off stage. He's that excited.
5 seconds left.
We'll see.
I'd almost be afraid of Snuff if they actually go to win, because he's going to go on a hucking spree.
And he'd probably be interviewed as well.
Yeah, that would be one interesting thing. Let's see if they can make it there. That's going to be some fun stuff for you guys viewing at home.
So Leonski already taking a bit of damage. He tried to go for a spawn pick like we expected, but does get punished just a little bit by that. Sexy Kick taking the Jackal. So that tells me that Liquid, they fear the roam game. They don't want to kind of deal with, the vigils, anything like that, potential C4 from below. They want to make sure that they can secure that. And also, that means they now have 4 smoke grenades to kind of make this yellow stairs, the B push, work a lot more. You can create a complete line of smokes right across towards that triple wall and towards the connector, and then you can swing on in and go for a very safe plant. That's the kind of idea that Liquid are going to try and implement, and it's really can trust stop that. They don't have the smoke, which is still a shock for me, and also you as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but they do have a Meister Cam, which helps immensely until that gets taken out at least. They got 2 ACOGs, so in case they actually get in there, it might be hard for them to get out, right? Nesk pulling off Leon right from... where was that from? That was from down by... I think he got him in bathroom, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that was just a quick peek coming in from him, and Leona possibly just overextending there at that stage, trying to get up in the face of Liquid, making them feel very uncomfortable. You have managed to get Paula down to very low health as well. He's just barely hanging alive, and Quad's the aggressive jump out. The flash does hit him, but he also lands his shot as well. Even going to be phone called, and can he get away with this? This will be immense. No, he'll be shot down, but then DreamHack jumps out, also gets the refrag. That's immense coming in from the players of Trust Gaming, and this puts Team Liquid in such an awkward position. They've lost their hard breach, and they've lost their buck and their skeleton key.
It's amazing to see them jump out twice that quickly after each other, right? Like, they're so confident right now. This peak actually getting... How are they... Where's the drones? Like, what's going on for Liquid here, right?
There is no communication. They're not getting the refrags wherever they need to be. They're letting Trust Gaming play their matchup. Potentially Les will fall. Yes, he will. Snuff will be there. A 1 versus 3 down to Sexy Kick. Gets a smoke grenade in, but somebody will be very close to his left-hand side if he tries to swing in. But no, the run-out comes in from DreamHack. A free K from him, and Trust Gaming, 2 more rounds.
And 3 of these kills came from defenders that were outside the building. If you're Liquid right now, not only are you slightly tilted, like you're petrified, because what do you do right now? They're not scared of you anymore. You have nothing to bring except go back and do your whatever default strat you can, and then just hope that you can stop bringing this back.
So, that will be the top floor defended. They have a choice between either the mid floor, that split bomb site, or the downstairs. Downstairs is more preferable for a lot of teams, but no, they will go for the mid floor. They want to try and play just as flexible as they can. Maybe try and catch Liquid by surprise. Maybe Liquid are now expecting to attack that bottom floor, that garage. That's why they've kind of brought the line up, because it works well with also the garage. But really, any site, I would say those 5 attackers work pretty well in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, to some extent, you could even say the same with the defenders. It's very difficult to tell where they would go based off this, at least for this map, right? You could, I could see every site being played more or less with this setup. Although if you're playing the Visa setup, you'd probably squeeze a mirror in there. But the interesting thing about playing the lobby is that as long as you're running 2 ACOGs, it becomes very difficult to attack this. There are so many undestructible walls. 90% of each bomb site is only accessible through doorways, right, or hatches. There's 1 hatch on each bomb site. Then there's 3 doors into one of them, 2 doors into the other one. There's no destructible walls or anything. There's a little bit of floor above you could destroy. There's a little bit of floor below. But but it forces a lot more gunfights. And right now, they're the ones, you know, with momentum running and the ones seeming to control the game. So the one thing you want to do now is start taking gunfights, because the other team's going to, you know, look a bit more for them. They're already a bit tilted, so they're going to start making the mistakes.
If another thing I'd like to pick your brain about is if you're Trust and you see the exact same attacking lineup, which has, theoretically, not a lot of counters to Clash, would you ever bring that in this situation? I would say primarily for split bomb side.
If I was Trust, I wouldn't, because I've seen how Trust play with Clash. So simply going off that, I think they could spend their energy a lot wiser. But if you're a team that is, you know, actually good with Clash, then it could be interesting. I'd much rather see Trust just play a Mirror or something like that, because we know that that works for them. I'll still give them flack for not running a smoke. I think it's such a great thing to run against almost all of the APAC teams and the LATAM teams because of how aggressive they all play.
So for Trust, no Clash, but just in general, yeah?
Yeah, I'd be up for that, especially if you're playing these long angles where you have the Apex, you can start using it as a movable mirror.
DreamHack, another kill for him, and also a C4 from Leonska. However, Paula will pick up the kill onto DreamHack, a 4 versus 3. Snuff here on Spiraler, great position, not only to kind of hold that main corridor, but also the bomb site in general. He has the ACOG, can play these long, narrow angles with him. Will anybody from Liquid be peeking? You can see one person moving his way in. It will be the Buck, just barely the timing. Snuff misses that, and instead is looked towards that rotation hole. Team Liquid are starting to storm that top floor, and with a minute to go, they do have a bit of time to get some destructibility in, but they've lost Nesk. That's the main thing about this.
Yeah, and Trust still have Quotzi. So, you know, the Benelux Nesk is still alive.
Leonski, he does fall. He's already used the C4 and already got a kill, so it's not too much of a hefty loss for Trust. They still have Snuff here in such a good position. There's no way that nobody from Liquid knows he's here. That's the main thing about it. He will go for the peak, land the shots. However, Paula will still keep it in equal numbers. A 2 versus 2. Paula and Sexy Cake versus Avish and Snuff. Rook and Maestro, the 2 heavies versus the 2-2 space. Let's see where this one will head. 20 seconds to go. Sexy Cake has pushed his way in towards the lobby, but of course those Maestro cameras will be great at giving the denial. Avish peeks around with the LMG. Last but not Paula. 10 seconds to go, still getting tagged, has to go for the plant.
10 seconds left.
Excellent bit of patience from Trust Gaming. The plant comes in, they are going to have to collapse on it. Snuff will swing on round, he should manage to land the shots as soon as Paula comes off. He sees the back end of the Buck and he will get it! And Trust Gaming go match point against Team Liquid.
They haven't stopped saying woo yet.
Disabled the diffuser.
I'm flabbergasted, mind blown, and so confused. How do you think they're feeling right now? This is crazy.
I'm pretty sure me and you feel the exact same way about what's happening, because we just don't know.
Yeah, like
this is...
I mean, I was okay with them getting a few rounds and showing that they were a contender, but
oh yeah,
there is no way that I would ever have expected them to take Club and then to be 6-2 up on. I mean, it's not over yet, sure.
No.
But they sound like
they
sound like they're done. They sound like they've won.
This you have to remember as well. Trust Gaming are not even Challenger League level. These guys are not even there. They are a team aiming for Challenger League. They are not there. They are still just known as a kind of, in between Tier 3 and Tier 2 team. That's where they're at, solidified in that aspect. Sure, they have a lot of experience playing against, pro teams, not only just in this tournament against Liquid, but also they've been the DreamHack Valencia. They were also at the Euro Cup at Milan's Games Week, where they got to play, against a couple of teams over there. They have the LAN experience, which is always strong for teams. Liquid, I have no words. What is happening to this mighty team? We had so much high hopes. They got Gohan from one of the best players from FIAs. Where is he?
There's I mean, you always got to be careful putting too much weight on the new, the new player. Although I don't really know if we can call him a new player. Gohan's been playing, for almost forever and is a legendary player in the Brazilian scene. But coming into a new team, you always, you kind of got to find your way, see where you fit in. I was expecting more, let's be fair. Even from Nesk. Nesk is world-class fragger in Siege. And right now, he's getting almost one-to-one outgunned by Quotzi.
Yeah, we expected more, but then I would say that looking at it, we expected a lot from Uno, and he showed that to us.
Yeah.
That's the difference. You know, we have had players there who was their first time in their team. Uno did immense. Well, that Dutch Nesk, as you like to call him, Quadzy, does get lit up just a little bit, and that's been enough to scare him away back down the site. That Dokkaebi call, I think, was the main factor there. He knew that's a non-winnable position. We could still see him try and go for a couple of late rotates, late flanks, but that's going to be very unlikely the way that Liquid set up for their flank rotations. We've seen that plenty of times on Border and Clubhouse. You know, the Claymores have been very big as well in a lot of the matches. And for Consulate, where you do have that kind of flexibility off the rotates, you have 3 sets of staircases to rotate up at the end of the day. They're going to have that lockdown. And as you can see, pre-placed drones, if someone does die, they will then be on flank watch.
Yeah, so that's something I wish we see more from almost every team is afford these 3 drones, set them up in pre-placed positions, and the first guy who dies, you're not sitting on a drone, you're spamming through them, right? Checking all 3 drones, check all 3 of them in 2 seconds, and then you know exactly what's going on, and you keep rotating this. You'll get a constant feed of what's going on, who's rotating where, and it's going to make it a lot easier for the rest of your attacking team to know what's going on. But something like that is amazingly difficult if you're already struggling to fix your communication because, you know, you're getting out-fragged, you can't seem to actually get some decent pressure on site. Right now, like, you don't see Trust feeling like they have to move in any way, right? And as soon as you can't stress the defender and get them to start moving position, it's really hard to win it.
What a flank rotation being held by Nesk, going all the way from the top floor and killing somebody trying to rotate from the downstairs. But Quadzy will try and take the fight, but no, finally Nesk will win against Quadzy for the first time inside of this match, if I do believe. So a 2 versus 5. And this is where you kind of expect Liquid to take this round. They have really lost too many of these big, massive man advantages. Avaish does get 1 kill for his trouble, a double for himself, a double headshot. 2 versus 3, but still a lot of work yet to do. Snuff will have to try and rotate his way and potentially try and long-arm the diffuser, but look where one player for Liquid's going to be, right sat at the back, ready to hold the angles. And once again, this is going to be a very rough position, just like we kind of seen Trust Gaming have this similar attack. It was very difficult for Liquid to retake, and I think this will be a bit of a similar position. Avaish does see the buck, but misses the shots. No, lands and gets it down, but the diffuser has run out quite a bit, and that's going to be the long angles being held by Sexy Cake using an almost sniper rifle. DMR does a lot of work, and that will be Liquid finally fighting back. This is better.
Avaish getting a 3K there, pretty much just slapping Liquid, but it was post-plant. It didn't help because
impact. That was it.
Once you get the diffuser down between the black and the white car, it is so easy to hold. There is nothing you can hide behind. You can't long arm it. You can't, like, you know, crawl under the car, sit on top of it. There is no way for you to get away with a diffuse there unless you're running flash maybe, or somehow manage to kill everyone outside. But doing that, the long range you can hold from outside, all of these pillars, like you can hide up by the bushes, you can vault over one of the little, you know, flower pots and look over a wall. There's so much stuff for you to look at, and on top of that, they could be up in CEO, they could be in, you know, piano. It's so difficult if you allow a plant to go down there. As long as it goes down deeper into site, if it goes down in kitchen, behind white van, any of that stuff, there's something, you know, there's something to work with. But if you let the plant go down in front of the bomb, right between the cars, you're 99% guaranteed to just lose that straight up.
There's a part of me that instead of Trust trying to go for the rotates, which they did try and do up the server stairs, I'd have liked them just to see how much they could push and just put all 5 people trying to kill that one plant. Sure, they could have lost some people, but in that scenario, then that puts them at quite much more of a clutchable position.
Yeah, I'd always want to say that if the plant is trying to go down there, it's almost worth it to just cancer around instantly.
Yeah.
You're not very likely to win it no matter how many people you have if the plant goes down in mid. So you might as well take the fight quickly, because if you end up actually downing it there, it's very difficult for the attackers to then get it later on as well, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword for the attackers. If they get it down, great, almost a guaranteed win. If the first planter dies, well then it's not fun to retrieve that diffuser.
So, moving into this top floor defense. Last time, Trust had a very strong defense for this. They didn't really have much struggle. They won, I believe, with still 3 people alive. We did have some pretty questionable plays from Leonski trying to get those quick, aggressive peaks, which haven't really done this time around. I would have still liked to see them keep that pressure on Liquid. Do not let them play as freely, because as you can see, whenever we let Liquid have all 5 people, they have a very deadly attack.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely cemented some sort of statement to Liquid here, because a minute's gone by and there's no repulse going on, right? We have, I think it's Buck standing at the top of Skylight, and that's pretty much it. Right now, they're waiting for Trust to overstep, to get a little bit arrogant, and go for these jump outs to see if they can get a pick. But Trust seems to be aware of this and just sit back, relax, try and figure out, you know, when is Liquid realizing that they don't have time to just wait.
Do you ever think that Liquid, instead of going for the, trying to force the yellow stairs in B, would they ever try and rotate and try and go for the admin, which is something that they haven't done yet?
I mean, I honestly think you can do an admin rotate with a minute left. You don't need that much time for it, especially if you have someone either on balcony or bathroom window or the sofa window, just cutting off, you know, limiting the defender's flow from A to B.
Ooh, Quasi and also Snuff dancing with death. The frag grenades come in, and the first kill will be on the Quasi. Snuff tries to refrag as much as he can, but no, on the window it will be Gohan with the SMG-12, puts down the Rook. And now Liquid, they have a very firm attack heading in towards the B, and also that bathroom and yellow stairs push. Smoke grenades in towards the corridor, stops any lines of sight that Diapet could have had onto the planter. Avige, 3 versus 4, he's been doing very well with the Maestro, and just running straight across. Avige and Ness will be right in the same room, but under the cover of the smoke, he will get away with that, as actually it was Gohan he swung on in. Ness will take position in the bathroom. Avige, a kill for him as well, 2 versus 2. Paul on very low health, he sees the partner, and he manages to pick up the dime at 2 versus 1. Paul on such low HP, and that will be it! And Trust Gaming will do the unthinkable as they beat Team